Good evening, YouTube. So I unloaded earlier today in New Hope, Minnesota, and it was mid-afternoon by the time they finally got the load unloaded. And so then I punched in the empty message, and they sent a load that picks up tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in Farmington, Minnesota, which where I'm at now, it's probably about maybe 45 miles or something, maybe not quite that far. So I came to, I don't know, right now I'm in a place called South St. Paul, which is another suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Came here and got my trailer washed out, and then there's a truck stop here, and so I went ahead and it was about half a mile or so from where the trailer washout was. So I went ahead and came here because there's no truck stop in Farmington, and it didn't look like, I couldn't tell whether there was parking or not where I'm going to be picking the load up, so I decided I would just hang out here and go down there and pick the load up at 11 a.m. and then the load delivers to back to Denver, Colorado. Okay, so now I'm going to try something a little bit different. I've got some articles that I found online while I was kind of reading, and I thought they were interesting. You know, I like science. I like to watch science documentaries. However, you've got to be careful because you know, this world is filled with people that lie. You have a world that's at least half full of people that have no ethics at all. You know, you take the morals away, you know, everything's a shade of gray, then it becomes easy to, you know, if you can rationalize away abortion and so on and so forth, you know, how much easier is it to rationalize things like global warming and so on and so forth. And so, you know, people like to talk about science and the peer review process and what have you. So I found this article, Scholarly Journal retracts 60 articles, smashes peer review ring. You know, like you've heard of drug rings, or there was a peer review ring where you had these crooked so-called scientists that were sort of all giving each other the nod so that they could get their articles published. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'll just read a bit of it. Every now and then a scholarly journal retracts an article because of errors or outright fraud in academic circles, and sometimes beyond. Each retraction is a big deal. Now comes word of a journal retracting 60 articles at once. The reason for the mass retraction is mind-blowing. A peer review and citation ring was apparently rigging the review process to get articles published. And I think that says it all. And so that's why you have to use your own BS detector. You have to have your own BS detector. If something doesn't seem right or so on and so forth, take it with a grain of salt, and don't just mindlessly accept it because someone is supposedly a scientist, and you have to accept what they say because they have the alphabet soup pedigree after their name. Sorry, but there's proof of it right there. Don't just automatically accept everything because someone says you have to, because it's a scientist. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, there's an Australian judge, and he says that incest may no longer be a taboo. Judge Gary Nielsen thinks that the community may now accept consensual sex between adult siblings. A judge in Australia says incest may no longer be a taboo, and the only reason it's criminal is potential birth abnormalities, which can be solved by abortion. So basically this judge is trying to say that, okay, well, maybe we can go ahead and just have incest, We've always had a taboo against it, but now we can solve, if you have birth defects because a brother, has a baby with his sister and there's birth defects, then we can solve that. We'll just abort it, get rid of it. It's just unwanted byproduct of sex, unwanted tissue mass. And so it's a bottomless pit, and here's further proof of what I've always said. Once you start down this, the shades of gray, slippery slope, it's a bottomless pit. It never ends, and people are going to be trying to say incest is normal. That's basically what this judge is saying. So I got another article here. Feeling cynical and hostile towards others may double the risk of having a stroke in middle-aged and older adults, according to a study. Hostile people more likely to suffer a stroke. And without going into a lot of detail with this, because they're talking about the study, this goes hand in hand with common sense. It goes hand in hand with everything I've ever said about resentment, not being resentful, because resentment is judgment. You wish somebody dead in your mind. You wish ill upon them, etc., in your mind. Person, place, or thing. It's usually people, but it could be places and things as well. It doesn't hurt it doesn't hurt the person or the place or the thing that you're wishing ill upon. It hurts you. There's a direct impact on you. And so therefore, no matter what, whether there's an injustice or not, as you go through your existence, and you will come across, lots and lots of injustices, don't make the mistake of resenting. Resentment is judgment. And if you don't understand that, refer you to my podcast, truckertompodcast.com. Listen to that. I've talked ad infinitum about resentment and why you shouldn't harbor it. And here, this is just more proof. Let's see. And then finally, I've got this article. Oh, dear. Oh, shorter sleep may speed brain aging. And I believe this is absolutely, they're talking about MRI, and there are plenty, they're talking about different studies and what have you, about how, it can impact your thinking. And, if you don't get enough sleep, that has all kinds of impact. Well, I absolutely agree with that. But what the article doesn't really talk about is, sometimes people think that it's smart not to, I think that it's smart, I'm not going to waste my time sleeping, I'm busy doing this or busy doing that. And, they think it's kind of smart to get by on less sleep. But a lot of times people just don't get enough sleep because they have insomnia. And why do they have insomnia? Because I think in large part people have insomnia because there's a good chance that here they go to lay down and go to sleep, to lay down, and then all of a sudden this thing they've been running away from, called conscience, they've been running away from that. All of a sudden it's catching up with them, and it begins to bother them. And that they want to run, you spend your time distracting yourself, running away from it, and, therefore you end up not being able to sleep. So, and that has a direct impact on your physiology. It has, all kinds of negative impacts. So you're much better off making friends with your conscience, and so on and so forth. And again, that's sort of goes hand in hand with what I talk about quite a bit in the podcast. So the proof is out there. You know, they do these studies, the proof is out there, and you know, these things do have an impact. So anyhow, from where am I at? Maybe I didn't get enough sleep now, I can't remember. South St. Paul, Minnesota. I'll catch you later.